Hello friends and welcome back to the Rayo Moon Oracle. I'm Rayo and today we have a quite unique reading I'm very excited to share. It is a BTS inspired reading. Um, so when I was in the process of creating this reading, initially I wanted to do a love reading. Love readings tend to do very well on YouTube, but when I was trying to think of like the format, the structure, what I wanted to talk about, nothing was quite working. It didn't like feel right. It wasn't resonating. I couldn't like figure out any structure or anything I wanted to do or use. And for a little bit there, it didn't make sense to me why I was having so much of a struggle doing it. But as I was kind of getting further through, I realized that I'm at this point in my journey where I'm not consuming those love readings on YouTube anymore. I'm not looking for love. I'm not worried about love. I don't have a focus on it. So it makes sense for why I was struggling to make a love reading if I'm not consuming that content and I'm not wanting to be in that space, right? So I ended up, through this realization, knowing that I wanted to talk about something else. I did want to focus on love, but I wanted to focus on fake love instead. The song came up at one point and I was like, oh yes, that makes sense. That feels right. That resonates. So that's where that BTS inspiration comes in. The song "Fake Love" that this reading is named after is one of my favorite songs. And "Fake Love," in there we talk about ways that we lie and aren't truthful to ourselves in that pursuit to make others happy. We get lost in that fake love. We're pretending and faking strength that we don't have, hiding our pain and our weaknesses. All of it's that fake love. It's all fake love. And in this fake love, we lose ourselves along the way, and we don't know who we are anymore. So in this reading, I wanted to look at the ways we are lying to ourselves, the ways we've lost ourselves, and through what means as well. Fake Love, the song, is a bit more relationship focused, but there are many places in our life I feel that we can have this fake love, be in this like fake love mindset and mode. It could be a relationship, but it could also be a career, a job, a specific identity, a friendship, a purpose, or even something bigger like a life purpose, right? So when I ended up doing this reading on myself as kind of like a test run of practice, it ended up being quite intense and brought up some weird coincidences. Specifically, John Cage's 4 minutes and 33 seconds, if anybody knows what that is. It's definitely a weird one, I know. But the reading itself gave me a lot of insight and food for thought. So that's why I'm really excited to share it with you today. So let us get started and hop over now and take a look at our groups. Here are our 3 groups to choose from. So we have 3 different moon quadruplicities / modalities, and these sign modalities are the ways we direct and move our energy. So group number 1 here, we have the Cardinal moon. It is an energy of creation, and the card says to be bold and make the first move. Group number 2 here is the fixed moon. It is an energy of preservation, and the card says to hold your vision. And then finally, for group number 3, we have the mutable moon. That is an energy of transformation. And the card says nothing is yet set in stone. So use whatever method you'd like to figure out what group you're drawn to. Ask your heart, your intuition, muscle test, pendulum, whatever method you use. Pause the video if you need additional time to figure out which one you're drawn to. And then join me in your group when you're ready. I'll see you there. Bye. Hello, group number 1, the Cardinal Moon group. So your card again says be bold and make the first move. The Cardinal Moon signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And the Cardinal energy is that initiator energy. It's the energy we're in when we're trying to take control of a situation or we're like in some type of leadership role. So it makes sense for the card right here, right? For making that first move. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it is that creation energy. So we'll put your card over off to the side here. So group 1, the structure of this reading, it's going to go like this. So we're talking about fake love, right? So where we have fake love in our lives, what we can do about it, what we're lying to ourselves about. So the Soul's Journey card here will give us that information for asking, figuring out where in our lives we have that fake love. After that, we're going to get an Archetypes card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. And that'll give us kind of that like theme or area, that bigger picture for why this area has that fake love. And finally, we're going to pull an animal spirit card for kind of more insight if it's needed, or more advice. I'll give us some advice for how to move forward in the situation. Because this is definitely like an intense topic. It's going to be something that maybe people don't want to hear right now, or they're not ready to hear. It's something that you're building awareness into as you're learning. But hopefully, like me, like when I did this reading for myself, gives you just some food for thought and ways to proceed forward, and ways to keep growing and learning in your life. So let's get started now with our Soul's Journey card. Put these two over here. These cards are really pretty. I like this deck a lot. They do mandalas. So let us see here. Whoa, whoa. That was fast. I didn't even ask the question. Okay, so where does group number 1, the Cardinal Moon group, have fake love in their lives? Okay. In your happiness. Okay. This card says, I am aware that being happy means I'm on the right path. So we sound like we are faking our happiness right now. Okay. So let us get our moon, our archetype deck card next. These are big cards here. So archetypes deck for group number 1, the Cardinal Moon group. Tell us more about this happiness. Why the happiness is fake love for them right now. Why their happiness is fake love. Oh. Too many, please. Too many. One card, please. These cards are a little difficult to handle, but pretty good once we get a card here. One card, please. Why is group 1 faking their happiness right now? So this one landed, and it's okay, yeah. The desert. We've got a great counter here. Look at this, the water and the happiness card versus the desert here. How interesting. Okay. And then last card from our animal spirit deck. Okay. Animal spirit deck, please tell me about the group 1 cardinal energy, their fake love in their life in regards to the happiness in the desert here. Tell me more about this fake love. One card, please. So we've got a bunch out here. Try again. One card, please. Tell me about the fake love in group number 1's life. Okay, come on, figure it out. Thank you. Tell me about the fake love in group 1's life. Whoa, we've got way too much going on. Sorry, group 1, a bunch of cards fell. Okay, thank you. We'll take that top card there, hyena. Okay. Let us see what we've got here, Cardinal group number 1. Quite a bit. Okay, let's see here. Give me just a sec. Let's figure out what's going on here. Group number 1. So this is a decently obvious one here, at least on the surface, right? So our happiness, right? We are pretending to be happy when we're actually really not. We're not anywhere close to it, right? We have that smile on our face. We are pretending to be fine in any given situation. We are laughing and joking and making sarcastic comments and being witty, like this hyena over here, right? We're in that energy of pretending to be happy, when really inside we feel this, we feel the desert, right? We feel like we are lacking that water, that substance, that basic fulfillment, right? There is a severe drought in our life. So it's really interesting here, right? Because we see all this water energy here in the happiness card, these dolphins, right? With that like blue kind of green coloring. There's so much water on the surface, right? Like this. And we're like, so we're playing, we're pretending like this, right? We're making those funny comments, we're pretending we're happy, but underneath right here, we're drowning in the desert, as weird as that sounds, right? But we're getting lost in that desert where we feel isolated, desolate, we feel lost, we feel close to death in some cases, right? We are trying so hard to maintain and pretend and act like everything's fine, right? This hyena persona we are putting on, just laughing at everything and smiling and playing, and nobody sees through it at this point, right? Nobody sees through it that we're struggling. Because we don't feel like we're on this right path here that this happiness card is talking about. We don't feel like we're on the right path. We don't feel like we're doing what makes us joyful and happy and strong and vital, like having that vitality in our lives, right? I was in this place for a while too. It's that deep kind of depression sometimes, those suicidal ideations, maybe, as hard as that is to say, but it's like, it's a horrible place to be, and we're just keeping that mask on, right? We're not letting anybody see through. And maybe at this point too, maybe we feel this, right? But we're so deep in it, we are so close, we're so much in the sand, right? That we've almost convinced ourselves we're happy too, right? We are pretending so hard, pretending so much that we're fine, that we're okay, that we're happy. And that's why this is fake. This is that fake love, right? So we're faking that love for ourselves, that love for our life, that love for the situation we're in, whatever it may be. Could be a relationship, could be that career, that job, anything. But at the core, at the base here, right, we are we are drowning in the desert. We are drowning in the desert. And part of it, we just have to, part of it's admitting it, right? So the theme for the desert at first glance, right, it looks very desolate and isolated and harsh. And it is those things. It is those things as well. The desert is a very, very harsh environment to be in, with the skyrocketing hot temperatures during the day and then the super low, cold temperatures during the night, right? It's like the extremes of life, the deep, like the big extremes, where we swing one way and then the other way, and it's the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. There's no center, there's no equilibrium in the desert usually. But at first glance, right? So we think it's desolate, we think it's isolated, we don't think there's life there, right? But that's not true actually. There in the desert, there is life there. It has to deal with this harsh environment for sure, but there is plant life and animal life and things that do survive and even thrive in the desert that like are a part of that landscape, right? And as desolate as it may seem, and dry and dehydrating, there is water nearby. It's there. We just are so deep in it. We're drowning in the sand here that we can't see that we're close, right? We're very, very close. Often when the extremes of life make us appreciate everything all the more, all the better, right? So having those real lows brings us to those big highs too, and it's a balancing process and evening out as well. The desert talks about this, like, this just dread for life in general, right? Where it's like you picture walking through the desert and being lost in it and just endless sand in front of you, right? And you question existence, you question living, you question why you're doing what you're doing in the first place, right? You're at that desert point in your life for what's the point, right? What's the purpose? What am I trying to do? What are my goals? What's my future look like? It gives you that like existential crisis, right? Because it's like you can't see anything further beyond, right? And it's like it's okay, you climb to the top of that hill, right? That top of that sand mountain, and then you just see more sand in front of you. You see nothing, and you just wonder. But that's the thing is, there's always possibility just over the other side, right? We see it in the moon in the hyena card here, right? So we're on the dark side of the moon here, but it just on the other side, right? We don't know quite where we are in this path, in this journey, because we could literally be like right here, right? We can literally be right here and just a little bit more, all of a sudden we're back in the light. All of a sudden we're back in the reality we want to be in. Everything makes sense again. We are living our lives and we're like, we know what the point and the purpose is. But to get to that point, right? To get back into actually truly being happy, we have to admit that we aren't first. We have to admit where that fake love is in our life, right? We have to admit that we are not happy, that we are not okay, that we feel like we're drowning in sand, that we feel like we're isolated, that we feel like we're alone, that we feel like we don't have a purpose or a reason to keep going, right? We have to admit. And that's when that little bit of life will come up in the desert, right? That's when you'll see that little lizard running through, or you'll see the flowering cactus, things like that, where there is life and things to focus on and be grateful for as you're moving through this process, as you're moving through this journey, finding those tiny bits of little happiness, right? You can keep moving forward in that and take solace in that. Part of being able to move forward, right? Part of being able to progress and change and grow is to accept where we are in the first place, right? I know it's not a fun place to be. I've been there myself. It's not. It's sad. It's when you get into the space, right? You get so sad sometimes and you get so down, and then you just start feeling nothing after a point too, right? You just start feeling nothing, and you wonder if you're ever going to feel again, or ever feel happiness or feel passion or joy or any of that again. You wonder so much about it, and then you are starting to wonder if is it even worth it, right? But you fight back and get stronger by focusing on the little things, right? Focusing on what it can teach you. And so those extremes of life, right? So it's like, okay, the blistering heat gives you visions, and you remember something that you've forgotten about potentially, and you're like, you see this creativity. There's a reason why, like in biblical mythology, right, where it's like Jesus went out into the desert and for what was it, 40 days and 40 nights, something like that, where and just making it like that vision quest almost, right? Where it's like there's power in this energy as well. You just have to reach it and access it. And then coming out of it, because you will come out of it, you will get back to this light side, right? You will get back to that other side of the moon. You'll get there. Then you have all this experience and knowledge to draw from at that point, okay? You have these abilities and things you've learned, because this is a crazy space to be in too, right? It's a super crazy space, and something to, once you get out of it, because you will get out of it, there's so much creativity and other things and things you can learn and ways you can connect with people, because others have felt this, right? I felt this at one point in my life. I can guarantee there's so many people who have felt this in their life, who are in this space right now, joining you in this group, that are trying to navigate through and move through this, okay? And once you do, then you're able to reach out to these people and connect on a level that you never even thought possible, okay? We're asked by this energy here. This we're asked in this fake love that we are in to actually really dig down deep and figure out what makes us happy, what actually makes us happy, what actually fulfills our dreams, gives us that purpose, gives us that energy, right? And for it to be that authentic and true and strong, that's why we're also in the desert, okay? We've been lying to ourselves that what we're in, what we're doing right now, is making us happy. That's what's fake love in our lives here, okay? We're lying to ourselves about the fact that we're happy, that we are content, we are joyful in the place we are at, in the situation we are in, and we are hiding the fact that we are actually feel like we're drowning, right? This is those weaknesses, that pain, that lack of strength, where we are drowning in the sand and can't seem to find a way out and can't seem to figure out the way forward that we want to go, because everywhere we look around us is just desert, right? So we're hiding it and hiding it with sarcasm and acting funny and playing around and being that jokester. But that's why the fake love is important to look at here, right? To find ourselves in the mirror again, find actually what makes us happy, and we start with those little pieces of happiness, right? Those little pieces of life in the desert, that little flower, that's little bit of rain you might get that day, or that cloud coming over that hot sun, those little happinesses. Because as we keep moving forward, we'll keep finding more of them. We'll keep finding more. We'll keep progressing. And eventually we find water, and eventually we will get out of this desert. And then this happiness will actually be authentic. We'll actually feel like we're on the right path, because we actually feel genuine happiness again. Okay. I know it's hard. I know there's a lot going on here, right? We feel a lot, but at the same time we feel almost nothing. Yeah. Um, it's okay. It's okay. I understand. I promise. It might not seem like it right now, but there is water. Just push that little bit further, go a little bit longer. Take a break if you need to, but you will get out of this desert, okay? You'll get out of this desert and you'll actually finally be happy again, okay? But you have to admit it first. You have to admit that you are not happy. You have to admit that you are not okay. And then you can actually progress and find that true happiness, okay? And that's your first move here, okay? That's this first move here that you need to make. You need to be bold and make that first move and admit that you're not okay. Once you do this, right, then that will actually let you progress and change your phase here in this other side of the moon, right? So I'll keep you in my thoughts, group 1, this cardinal group. But you're strong, right? That's why you picked this cardinal moon energy, right? This is that initiator energy, that creator energy. You can create your happiness, okay? You can create it. You just have to do it. You have to move forward, okay? Okay. Well, group 1, that is all I have for you. I hope it resonated with you. I hope it made sense. And I hope you think about it, right? And think about, reevaluate and look at your life and see where this fake love is, okay? Because we don't want fake love in our lives. We don't want that. We don't want to be in that pain and that energy. So we have to progress forward and move and make that change, okay? So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please like, comment, and subscribe if this resonated with you. Thank you to your guides and my guides for working with us today and protecting us all while we connect. And I will see you in another video. Bye. Hello, group number 2, our fixed moon group. Your card says hold your vision. Fixed moon there. So the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. The fixed energy is one of steadfastness, stability, and reliability. It's the energy that creates the long-term consistency, but it can also be like that stubborn and slow to change energy. And like I said in the beginning of the video, it's a preservation energy. So I'll put that card over here. So group 3, in our fake love reading here, we are going to look at those ways we are lying to ourselves, right? So the structure of this, it's how this will go, that we'll pull Soul's Journey card, asking about where in our lives we have that fake love. After we get that card, we're going to get an archetypes card from this one by Kim Kranz that helps to figure out that theme and why that area of our life is fake love. And then finally, we're going to get an animal spirit card for some more insight potentially, or maybe some advice for how to move out of this energy. Because we don't want to stay in that fake love energy. We want to build that awareness in it and be able to change it so that way we can move out of it and not have it affect our lives anymore. So let us get started. I'll move these over here and we'll start with our Soul's Journey card here. These are some of my favorite cards. They have these pretty mandalas on them. Okay. Soul's Journey cards. Where does group 2, the fixed moon group, have fake love in their lives? What fake love does group 2 have in their lives? What area? Growth. Okay. Interesting. That kind of makes sense for a fixed moon group. Okay. Get these back in the box here. So let us pull our archetypes card now. These are nice big round ones here. They're a little hard to handle, but we'll see what comes out. So archetypes deck, please tell me about why growth is fake love in group 2's life. Why is growth fake love? Getting a little hard to handle. Okay, let's see. Why is growth fake love in group 2's life? One card, please. One card, please. Maybe. One card, please. Give me one card, please. Oh. One fell onto the ground here. Let's see. Oh, the Mother card. Interesting. Okay. Okay, we'll have to dive more into that one. Take a look. Okay. Last card is the Animal Spirit cards. Okay. Animal Spirit deck, please give me more insight into the growth and mother, potentially some advice for group number 2, the fixed moon, and why this is fake love in their lives. One card, please. Thank you. The Earthworm. Interesting. Ooh, look at this kind of round imagery you have in all these cards. Obviously, the mandala is just kind of that round, because that's what a mandala is, but you have it in here and here. Look, these are very similar imageries right here. That's interesting. Okay. So your growth card says, I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. But that's where we have fake love for ourselves. And then we have the Mother card, which is card number 1, and the Earthworm, which is an Earth card. Okay, let's take a minute here and figure out what we got going on. Okay, group number 2, my fixed moon group. So we're holding ourselves back in something, aren't we? We are where we have fake love, where we're lying to ourselves in this growth process, right? We are acting like we're moving forward, acting like we're learning and progressing and growing. We're doing it maybe in a very deliberate way, right? We are growing in maybe our skill sets, but we know the actual place where we need growth, where we need to progress is maybe in our like ability to public speak or something, right? We are pushing ourselves in one area and saying that we're growing, saying that we are progressing, when we know we are actually inhibiting and keeping ourselves from moving forward in the actual area we need to grow in, right? So that growth process looks a lot different, right? We are growing, but we know we're not having the growth we need to have. We're not growing for the sake of growth. We are growing in order to hide something else we are lacking or something else that can't grow. So that's where this is, where we're lying to ourselves, where we're faking something, right? This mothering energy comes in because maybe we have that archetypical mother type, right? But this is where we are holding ourselves back, right? So the mothering energy, a mother archetype, where that's a creation but restriction at the same time, right? So the mother has that light and dark side, where the mom wants is that creations, that nurturing, right? That growth, but it's also that restriction, that clinging, that overbearingness at the same time, right? That's that like shadow side of this mothering energy. So, while we're allowing ourselves to create and be in this creation energy, right? We see some of these same colors here, right? In these cards. See this blue matching over here, this yellow matches the card there. We're letting ourselves create and grow and progress in one area of our lives, but we're doing that in order to keep ourselves from growing in another place, in order to keep ourselves from risking embarrassments, looking like a fool, looking like a beginner, like a newbie, right? Because that's what this earthworm energy talks about. This earthworm energy talks about that slow movement through the earth, right? And not being able to necessarily see, being a beginner in a lot of situations. And we don't grow. Everybody starts here, right? Everybody has to learn how to walk, learn how to talk as they are born from this mother energy, right? Everybody has to go through this growth process in multiple areas of their lives many, many times over through our lives. So everybody starts here, right? So you are maybe in a new project or a new field or something that scares you to grow in, something that scares you because you don't want to mess up, you don't want to risk that embarrassment, you don't want to try and do something you've never done before. Because it scares you, right? That's that actual real growth. That's that actual real growth. The thing that scares you, the thing that you're holding yourself back from, the thing that you're lying to yourself about, that's fake love in your life, is this thing that you're actually going to need to genuinely grow from. That's what this part is, right? This is what we're keeping ourselves back from, this want to expand in a specific area of our lives. There's a specific area where you say, for example, we'll take like the BTS example, where you want to sing, right? You want to be a singer, or you want to dance, but you're too scared to do it, right? So maybe you take one part where you're like, okay, so I know I want to be a singer. I want to be this big artist, right? So I can sing, and I'm good at that. That you're natural. You're natural at that. You're natural at that. You're good at that. You have that skill that comes easy to you. You don't mind going to those lessons and improving that skill, right? But you know, in order to accomplish this bigger goal, this bigger dream you have to learn how to dance too, right? You have to learn how to dance. But you skip out on those dance practices because you don't want to look silly. learn it at home and like where nobody can see. You don't go out and be around people. You don't seek out that expert advice because you're so scared of looking silly, risking that embarrassment, right? So you're hindering your growth, you're hindering your ability to progress and achieve what you want to achieve. And the lying to yourself about this growth, right? You're like, oh, I'm doing well. I'm working towards my dreams. I go to my singing lessons twice a week. And you talk about that and work through that and push that out, show people that. But then if somebody asks you, well, you know you need to dance too, right? So have you been going to dance classes? Do you have a dance teacher? And you're silent, right? Because you're scared of that. You're scared of the growth in this area specifically, right? That's where you're holding yourself back. You're creating this dream, this vision, right? But you're also restricting yourself from it, clinging to the things that you already know how to do, clinging to the things you're good at, so you don't have to be in this newbie energy, right? You don't have to be in this fumbling around, trying to figure it out. Like scared energy, right? Just pushing aimlessly through the dirt. That's where we're lying to ourselves. That's where we have this fake love here, okay? So then the mother card here also asks us, the earthworm tells us to just go in and risk that embarrassment, right? To just kind of do it. But that mothering energy comes in, and we there's ways we can nurture ourselves, ways we can improve ourselves and give us more strength in order to grow in the area that actually scares us. There's ways we can do that. So there are small steps we can take. There's definitely a process here of building self-awareness, building up the self-confidence to be okay to not be perfect, right? To be okay to not do things right the first time. It's okay to fail, right? There's things that you just have to do it. For example, so like in my life, I wanted to go dancing when I was younger. I wanted to go out to the country line dancing bars and learn how to swing dance and two step and country line dance because it was something I enjoyed doing. But I had never done it before. I hadn't ever done it before. I knew it was a thing and knew it was possible. Knew that it was something I wanted to do, but it's scary to be that newbie, right? It's scary to jump into a class, be brand new to it, right? But everybody starts here. Everybody starts having to learn and to grow, right? That's not new. We just have to keep up in this energy as we get older, right? When you're young as a kid, you are just doing it automatically because a kid knows that they don't know things. A kid knows that they're going to learn and progress, and that's part of their process, right? But as we grow older, as we settle into adulthood and being an adult and knowing who we are, we stop pursuing these opportunities or doing things that scare us, getting into those new things, right? So I forced myself into a growth situation by just going out and doing it, right? I went to the bar and just watched all the line dances and jumped in when I could and wasn't super worried. I didn't try to be worried about looking silly, looking dumb, not knowing the steps and eventually over time I've built it up. I got better and better. I learned all the dances. I'm at that place regularly now. I go and I'm well known there and know all the dances and even bring in the dances, right? I got to this expert level, this mastery process after a long period of time. It's been probably about 8 years or so now, but I started not knowing anything. I started not knowing anything at all to start with. But I had to let myself go, stop restricting myself, and do what I wanted to do because I knew I wanted to. It's important in that way because you want to keep trying new things, right? That's just how you grow in life. For you, this group specifically, you know where you're keeping yourself from growing, right? That's what we're lying to ourselves about. That's what's that fake love in our lives because we know what we're supposed to be growing and we know what we should be doing, right? We know we should be going to those dance classes, and we should be going to them probably more frequently, if not just as frequently than our singing lessons, right? So, and you're gonna it's just how it is. I'm sorry to say, but it's just part of that process. You're gonna look silly to start, but that's okay because everybody starts out that way. You don't start off amazing at it. Some people have innate talent in certain areas of their life, right? But that nobody's good at everything. And even those people that are good at almost everything are have a few things where they're just not good at it at all, right? But there's something to be said for the person who maybe doesn't have the natural talent but keeps pushing and growing and getting better, right? That goes to their training, goes to their classes, seeks outside help, additional help, more teachers, more knowledge, and gets better and better, right? There's some of the people that have the innate talent in certain areas don't continue and get as big as the people who built and grew in their skill set over time. Those people know the value of the hard work and force themselves to grow, right? And that's what we want to do. We want to force ourselves to grow because almost most likely you're going to end up maybe even better than somebody who has natural talents than it because they will hit this point where they don't want to keep going. They'll restrict themselves, get lost in this earthworm energy, right? Where they think that they don't need to progress or grow and will just settle for what they have, right? And don't continue on. So that's something important to keep in mind, right? There we can keep growing. We can keep growing and getting better. You know what you're lying to yourself about here. You know what you need to do. You know the class you need to take. You know the next step you need to go into in order to improve and grow in your given situation. You're just choosing not to, and you're hiding it behind other growth, other fake growth, saying, oh, I do this all the time. I'm working towards this goal, this one goal I have, this one piece of the goal. I'm working towards being a famous artist because I practice my singing all the time, but you know you need to practice your dancing too. So you hide it. Hide the fact that you're just doing the one thing and talk about that place where you're growing and not the place where you actually need to grow, right? For example, I need tomatoes and potatoes for this one recipe, right? That I really want to make, and my tomatoes are growing amazingly. And you're talking about the tomatoes all the time, all the time. And somebody asks you about the potatoes, and you're like, oh, they're doing okay, but my tomatoes are doing really, really well. The potatoes are, but my tomatoes are doing amazing, right? I don't know why that popped into my head. I think I was watching too much Animal Crossing, but that's kind of the example, right? That's kind of that thought process where we are hiding or lying to ourselves about the growth we actually need to have in our lives through showing off the growth we are doing in another area that is not the point, right? That's how we restrict and create at the same time, right? We're creating something, but we're restricting ourselves. That's how we're nurturing, but overbearing to ourselves at the same time in this mother energy. So, kind of a weird dichotomy, a weird process there, right? But that is it's okay to fail. I promise. It's okay to fail. In certain avenues, certain jobs, right, where there's a means in order to make sure that something doesn't happen, right? So we're not all like a doctor's somebody you don't want to fail, obviously, right? But a doctor gets so much training in a way in areas where they can fail and learn without those consequences of somebody dying potentially, so that they can get better and better and grow and get over these blocks that they have, right? But for most of the rest of us, there's not consequences to those actions. Like there's the worst consequences we suffer is that we're a little embarrassed, right? We look a little silly, we look a little dumb, maybe, but you can laugh it off, laugh it off, and keep going, right? Because people will look at your determination and your work ethic and pride and your pride in that, and they'll commend you for that. You will be commended for the growth and the work that you put in to get better and better and better. So it's okay to look a little silly sometimes. It's okay to be new. It's okay to be new because you'll learn from it and get better, and down the line, if you give yourself a year, 2 years, three, whatever it is, right, you won't be a newbie anymore. You won't be brand new to it. You'll have learned so much in that time, but you have to start. That's the thing. You have to start first, okay? You have to start and actually grow in the area you're scared to grow in, okay? So group number 2 here. So it's hold your vision, right? That's that piece. Hold the vision because you have your bigger goal, your bigger purpose in mind. You're holding to that, but don't get caught in the fixed energy here. Don't get caught in not moving forward, not progressing. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in that and be stubborn and too slow to change, like I mentioned for the description of that fixed moon energy, right? Don't get stuck in that. You hold your vision, hold the vision as a whole, that growth process, that bigger piece. Hold to that. That's your bigger purpose, but don't get stuck in that fixed energy and keep growing, okay? So group 2, that is all I have for you. Hopefully this reading resonated with you. Hopefully it made sense. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below if you've been enjoying the content. Thank you to your guides and my guides for helping us all while we connect today and protecting us while we do so. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Hello, group number 3, the Mutable Moon group. Your card says nothing is yet set in stone. So let us get started here. So the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Mutable energy is one of constant change and going with the flow. So we see that in that ocean here, right? That constant movement, transformation. So there's not a lot of structure, but it's the energy of like variety and spontaneity. And like I'd stated in the beginning of the video, that transformation energy, right? That movement. So group number 3, the way this reading is going to be structured, we're looking at fake love in our lives, right? The places that we're lying to ourselves, where we're losing ourselves and not knowing who we are anymore. So first we'll get a soul's journey card, and that'll be asking about where in our life we have this fake love. And then we'll get a archetypes card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck by Kim Kranz, and that'll give us that bigger picture, that theme of why this area in our life is fake love. And then finally we'll get an animal spirit card, which will give us more insight or maybe some advice for how to move forward in the situation after we look at everything else. So let us get started here with our first card. Get those out of the way. So Soul's Journey cards here. Some of my favorite cards. I used this deck a lot early on when I was first starting in reading cards. They have a lot of really beautiful mandalas on them. So let us see. Soul's Journey cards for group number 3. What is fake love in their lives? What's fake love? Where are they lying to themselves? And what about where are they losing themselves? Blame, okay. Interesting. Thank you. Okay. Let us see now. So this card says, I accept responsibility for my well-being. We'll see how this progresses. Okay. So next we're going to get an archetypes card. This one might take a sec because these are hard cards to handle. They're very, very strong though. So, archetypes deck, please tell me more about the blame card for group number 3, the Mutable Moon, and why this is fake love in their lives. One card, please, and please reveal. One card, please. That one? A healer. Okay, a healer. Got some common coloring in there. Interesting, okay. Put these away, thank you. Then finally our animal spirit deck. Okay. Animal spirit deck, please give me more insight or advice on the blame and the healer card. For group number 3, the Mutable Moon, and how this relates to fake love. What's fake love in their lives? One card, please. One card, please. One card, please, and please reveal. Butterfly. Butterfly. Okay. 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 So let's just take a sec here and give a look at these cards. I ended up going with the butterfly because it resonated more, felt right. Plus the coloring was matching. We get these blues and oranges again, like that matches the blame card here. We get the orange across all 3 cards. So that one felt more proper than the crocodile. So let's see here. Let me take a second and just see your cards. Okay, group number 3, our Mutable Moon here. So we are resisting that change in our life, that Mutable Moon energy here, right? So that's what the butterfly is calling back to. That's what the butterfly is referring to, because the butterfly has to go through that change process, right? That caterpillar into the cocoon in order to become the butterfly, right? So there's something in our lives that we are not healing from at the moment. We are making excuses and shifting the blame for ourselves and our responsibilities and well-being to something outside of ourselves, something we are observing, we are considering is outside of our power, so therefore we cannot do anything, we cannot change the situation, right? And that is not true. That is not true at all. We need to come out of this victim mentality that we have here. This is going to kind of be my call out group here. Sorry, group number 3, but you are losing yourself in this identity of the victim, right? That is fake love in your life. That is fake. That is where you are lying to yourself, is because you think you do not have the ability to heal and grow and get better. And the reasons for this are because other people are keeping you down, other people are keeping you controlled or contained, whatever it is. This is despite the fact you are going through a this butterfly transformation, right? This and your card, if I want to remind you here, it says nothing is yet set in stone. You are in this energy right here, this transformation, this movement energy. So you are not yet set. You don't have to be in this mode. You do not have to be in this mindset here, right? The blame card, that shifting of the blame to others, does not serve you in any capacity. It keeps you from changing and doing what you need to do, and keeps you from transforming, because you are going to constantly give the power away to others, give the power away for why you were affected, why you are doing things the way you are doing. You are constantly giving that away because you do not want to take responsibility yourself and actually do the healing you need to do, right? We want to live in this ignorance, and because it is bliss and it's a pain, we know, right? That's kind of the usually the catch for a lot of this, is when we are in a victim mentality and not healing, it's because we have taken on this identity of this victim, right? We have based our identity around that feeling, that energy, the thing that has happened to us and our response to it. We have based our identity around it, and it is hard to shift that once we have gotten into that space, because it feels like if we change, if we heal, if we let that go, if we heal it and grow from it, then who are we anymore, right? We're asking ourselves in that mirror, who are we? Because we've lost ourselves, because we've put so much of our identity into this victim mentality that we have, right? Instead of transforming, instead of getting improving and getting better and actually getting down to the core of ourselves, right? These core stones that the snake is around here, this core, and this yellow sunshine here in the bottom, like the middle of the blame card, the core of who we actually are. That's who you are regardless of the situation you are in. The situation that has happened to you, that you feel horrible about, that you think about all the time, that is constantly on your mind, and that you're like, oh, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? This sucks so much. I'm so sad. This hurts. For why did they do this to me? That constant reiteration, right? That situation you're stuck in. You need to stop and transform it, right? Get into that cocoon, surround yourself with the good people and the good situations and the goodness in your life, and remember at the core who you are, so you can transform through it and be that butterfly and take responsibility for yourself and your well-being, right? The fact of the matter is, nobody is going to care as much about you as you do. Nobody knows who you are as much as you know yourself. Nobody will ever be able to understand the depth of your feelings, the depth of your regard, the depth of this whatever horrible situation you've gone through. Nobody is going to be able to understand that. People can sympathize and even empathize. Some people have gotten close, probably. They maybe have experienced some of the same situation you have, but they are never ever going to be able to know exactly what is going on in your brain. That is both a blessing and a curse in some capacities. In this case, when we are so far in this victim mentality, right, it feeds into the shifting of blame, this lack of healing, because you will never be understood. You'll never be taken care of the way you want to be taken care of. Nobody's ever going to love you the way you want to be loved, right? But the truth of the matter is and transforming that emotion, that feeling, and healing it is actually, you can do that for yourself, right? You can do that for yourself. And you taking care of yourself, you giving yourself the regard and the love and the care you need, is actually what's going to help you heal and make you feel better and make everything better for you as a whole. It's a process of coming through this denial piece, right? To know that, so something happened to you, right? There's a situation that happened to you, and that part was potentially unavoidable. That is just what has happened to you, and that is something we have to accept, right? But all the pieces afterwards, everything you do, how you react, is all under your control. Those pieces for how you choose to respond, how you choose to progress and heal, that is all your choice. The person, the situation, whatever happens that took away your power in that instance, does not keep doing that afterwards. It's a choice you are making. Hard as that is to maybe hear, that is a choice you're making to keep giving away your power, to keep being in this victim mentality, right? To keep being in this, oh, this hurt me and sucks so badly, right? And I'm not trying to discount the pain you've gone through, not by any means. We can't let that situation control us anymore. We've been through it, right? That's that person or that situation, something that really, really hurt us, right? But it's up to us afterwards for how we respond to it, right? We can't, like I was saying, we can't control what happened, the situation that happened to us. That's already past, though, and what we can control is our interactions, our reaction afterwards. So that means different things, right? That's where this healer card comes in. So maybe you need to look into getting some therapy, right? Be able to talk through your problems. Maybe you have to take some actual action in order to protect yourself and make sure you're safe again. There's definitely a few different things in there, right? Where we have to actually do something about it. We have to take responsibility and stop shifting that blame for our continuous pain, right? So what we could not control the pain that happened to us to start with through the situation that we were going through, right? Maybe some people could have, depending on the situation, right? But I'm going with the feeling, that blame word. So it's a situation we couldn't control, and that's caused us pain, right? But it's this process afterwards that we are keeping ourselves in pain, especially emotional pain. We're keeping ourselves in that emotional pain and keeping it moving forward because we're not accepting responsibility, right? So not looking and going to therapy if we need to, talking to somebody we trust and care about, that can help us out, taking the proper action to make sure that we're safe and taken care of again, right? We are not doing those things because we are so stuck in that victim mentality, that lack of blaming ourselves. And that's the thing, is there's nothing to blame yourself for, right? If for that situation that happened, most likely it's, for most of you, it's something you couldn't control. It's something that happened to you, right? But where you need to accept that responsibility, where there's fake love in your life, is where you're still hurting yourself over it. The situation has passed, it's in the past now, so it's up to you to heal from it so it doesn't keep hurting you. And that's where you need to take this energy back, right? Take this responsibility for your well-being into account and heal, right? And heal and transform. That's the important part here. This transformation process, because it's in the process of forgetting and trying to be in this ignorance, right, that we keep hurting ourselves, that we keep ourselves in denial, and therefore choose maybe the same situations again, the same things that hurt us over and over because we think we deserve it, or we think that because that's all we know, right? That's, again, part of that identity process, where it's like we are used to being the person this kind of situation happens to. We identify with that. That is just who we are. But it's not something you have to accept. It's not something you have to be in, right? You can heal from it. You can heal from it and transform it with this butterfly energy, right? Progress and move past it and actually find out those pieces at your core, right? Those deep internal pieces that actually matter and are the actual core of who you are, that are your actual identity, that is actually who you are. Because then we can actually finally release all of this, right? But there is a point of responsibility here, a point of accepting and taking responsibility for yourself and your well-being to let go of this situation, okay? This description for this card talks about that reason or excuse, right? So there's a reason is that valid thing that keeps you from doing it. An excuse is just a way to shift that blame away, right? But through this process, right, through realizing this area of fake love in our lives where you are shifting the blame and not taking responsibility for yourself and your well-being, you can go through a huge transformation process here. This can be an end of a big cycle for you if you actually work through this process in the healing transformational way. This can be something that'll get you out of the same situation you've been in for maybe years if you work and move past it, and then you can discover new things and have new experiences. If it feels like you always end up in the exact same place, no matter how hard you try, this is where you need to look at this point. This is where you need to go into that internal, because this is where that fake love is, right? This is where we're lying to ourselves. So you have to go internal, deep inside yourself in order to hit this transformation process. But that first step is building that awareness and realizing where you are keeping yourself from healing, where you are keeping yourself held back and not taking that responsibility. So you have to build that awareness first. So you need to take a really big, deep look at your life. I got through some of my patterns in this scenario, not with a ton of pain or anything like that, nothing super bad, gratefully. But I did it through journaling. That helped me a lot, where I was able to recognize the consistent patterns I've had and was able to finally choose something different, do something different, and realize why I kept choosing the same thing over and over and wouldn't let myself heal and come out of this. I accepted that responsibility that I kept actively choosing it over and over and over again. And realizing this, I realized it, accepted that I was doing this, and then actually healed what was wrong. Kept me in that cycle, kept me in this continuous cycle here with the snake, right? And actually transformed it and was able to move out of it finally. And it took a while, I'll admit that, but it can take a long time because of the awareness process. So I think as soon as you realize what's going on, as soon as you identify that area of fake love and this blame here, that shifting of blame, then you can move forward and progress very, very quickly if you so choose. But again, that's where your choice comes in, right? That's where your choice comes in, your ability to realize you have this power here. Realize you have the power and ability to change and to transform and to heal and to take and accept responsibility. So definitely a lot here, okay? I know it's going to be a hard process. You have to call yourself out on some stuff here. Um, you clicked on this reading, so hopefully that's kind of this first step and chose this one. So hopefully you're at that point of awareness. But it's up to you to actually work into this and work through it and to find that area and stop doing it. To actually take the responsibility for your well being, like this Billion card says right here. I accept responsibility for my well-being. And that's where we tie back in with the mutable moon here, right? Where it's like nothing is set in stone. You are not stuck in this situation. You are not stuck in this pain that you've been in. It is possible to heal it. It is possible to transform and to get out of this cycle. And it's not set in stone. We can transform this energy, transform, and move forward finally. So just keep that in mind, right? Okay. But for my Mutable Moon group number 3, that's all I have for you today. So hopefully this reading resonated with you. Hopefully it made sense. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below if you feel called to do so. I'd appreciate it greatly. Thank you to your guides and my guides for helping us all while we connect today and helping us with this reading. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you later. Bye.